Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. We've talked at our table about safety, comfort, and consent both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same, so listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the Path of Night.
Last time on Path of Night, the coterie rallied at Miles's Haven to prepare for their trip to New York City so that they can pick up a mysterious acquaintance of Kabir's. As they prepared, Archon Peterson arrived alongside a woman named Lucida to reclaim the hunting box left in Miles's care and to take the Ventru's midnight blue Ferrari. Soon after, the group hits the road headed to New York. The van takes off, and together, the coterie has small talk, listens to music. On more than one occasion, the group of you find yourselves actually singing along. At a certain point, you cross the state border, and it's around then that all of you get the feeling that kindred get when they are far from the safety of their havens, their boons and allies. And you descend into what you know is territory that is controlled by the Sabbat.
Yeah, so, I always kind of imagined that if I didn't end up being embraced, maybe I would actually get onto the radio or something, like do like a radio morning show, and I'd be like the Johnny the Hound or Johnny Kung Fu or, some kind of like, weird morning persona. I don't know.
Johnny Kung Fu, huh?
Yeah.
He spent a lot of time on the road, and leaves impressions.
That'd be pretty cool.
I'd listen to it. I don't know, I haven't really listened to music since Woodstock. I haven't really gotten into a whole lot.
Like, not at all?
Oh no, I've listened to it, like it comes on. I just haven't found anything that kind of, like, inspired me since Woodstock.
Miles, weren't you like a music producer before you were embraced?
Why were you using the past tense?
Oh, well, I suppose you still have your little Ventru claws and all that kind of world, huh?
I'm still doing productions. How do you think I keep track of musicians and such?
Never really kind of put that together, but that makes sense.
Yes, I'm still involved in that and still putting together, but I've less of a public face than I used to be. But I make deals happen.
Does leaving always feel like this? She's looking at Johnny as she asks.
To be honest, I try not to think about it too much. Honestly, most of it, thinking about driving, is just being aware of what's going on ahead of you. It's just awareness and putting yourself into the right situation. So it's just a lot of forethought and planning out your route, and then just being casual about it. But, in the back of your head, there is that worry.
It's weird, because I used to go to New York City all the time, and it never really bothered me. And now, when the border crossing sign happens, it's like a whole different world.
It's like part of me is just happy to get some space between the problems back home, I guess, but the other part of me is thinking about, well, everything else.
Yeah, I don't think I have it as bad as you guys. Gangrel wander, and as long as there's ground around, I'm safe from the sun. So, I get it, being far from home, but I don't know that it's any worse for me right now than any other time.
Do you think we'll be followed?
No, I think, considering the vehicle we're in, the fact that we're just moving along on the highway, Sabbat territory is never fun to travel through, but it takes them a little bit to organize and track down.
So you don't think that... Britta just kind of looks down at her hands and she wrings them for a second before she says, If Vito were following us, this would be a good time to get some allies.
Yeah, well...
I don't think he's gonna follow us. Very honestly, I don't think he's gonna go too far from that house.
He did seem to have a connection. He was very worried about it before we took him out of there.
Speaking of which, we really do have to get back to that house sooner than later.
Yeah, I was wondering if during the time period, Wynn, if you had looked in upon it or heard anything from Raven.
Nothing about the house, no. And I didn't want to go back on my own. It's
I wasn't sure.
The spiritual landscape there isn't safe for anything, and it's not a place to go alone.
It was always something I meant to deal with, but with Vito escaping, it's been difficult to nail down.
I mean, what can we really do about that house? Do you think it would even, if we had enough to get rid of it? Explosives or fire or...
Vito didn't think that would make a difference, though.
He might have been bluffing.
Exactly.
I think if it's something that's survived this long, I think it's going to take a lot more than just physical fire.
I was hoping that Raven might have some more information since it was one of her major projects, it seems like.
I can talk to her about it.
And according to other information, Nyx might be helpful in locating Vito.
We do need to talk to Nyx at some point.
Yes, I'd really like that.
She's the Malk Primogen?
She is the primogen of the Malkavians. It seems to make other Malkavians uncomfortable, from what I've heard.
Maybe she'd be more open to it now that you're a primogen too.
Maybe. Worth having a discussion with her.
For now, I mean, we have to figure out what to do about the house, but also what to do about... Well, to be honest, after Johnny, you turned him and everything, I kind of thought, I suppose if we get him... Well, where are we bringing him to?
Vito?
Yeah.
I definitely thought we'd have him more under control, but...
Honestly, I feel like bringing him back to my place is probably the safest option.
Right, but he's got to go somewhere. A lot of people want him.
We gotta figure out who we're giving him to.
Right.
I think the best bet is to try and give him have your sire deal with him.
That's gonna mean political shitfuckery in the domain, though. Because people in the domain want him.
Really, it's just Reese last time I checked. So it's Reese, my sire, are the last two people that I know that are wanting him, though.
Reese doesn't still have anything over you, right? Wynn?
Not me.
Well, if
Good.
Reese wants
Got
him,
Joey.
that would mean that His Grace wants him as well.
Not necessarily.
I mean, he would back whatever Reese wanted, but Rollins doesn't seem to really care as long as the problem is dealt with.
I mean, it would make sense for the prince to want Reese to study him.
Vito was saying that thing needed feeding, right?
I believe he's still going back to that house, yes.
I think that house is how is one of two ways we're gonna figure out where he is.
I'm not sure what's down there, and I'm very inclined to just light it all on fire, even if he did say it wasn't going to work. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, the main reason we wanted Vito in the first place was as leverage against Shaw. Shaw's no longer in the picture. Taking Vito out might be the best thing to do at this point.
If he can be taken out.
I'm pretty sure we all can die.
With the right tools, yeah. I have very strong concerns facing him again.
Yeah, I can imagine.
No, we need to pick our own grounds this time. Last time was a surprise.
Was it? I mean, we walked in looking to apprehend him.
Right, but the fight had gotten chaotic. We had spread out and stumbled upon him without us all being grouped up and still dealing with the different issues. I think it would have been different if we'd been
I'm starting to wonder
together.
if the books, the copies that he had, might have some information on how to destroy the thing in the basement.
That's worth a shot.
I can definitely start perusing those with a little more earnestness.
Definitely not my area.
I think if you look into those, you should do it with us around. I don't think it's a smart idea to be reading whatever pages he was squirreling away by yourself.
I'm pretty much solidly of the opinion that none of us should be doing anything by ourselves right now.
It's true. We've talked multiple times about being on the buddy system, so we should continue to do so.
Yeah.
All right. It makes sense to look into the book and to consider whether or not Vito's worth more dead or alive, but, well, between the two options, which one actually helps us?
I mean, Reese, who knows why Reese wants him, probably to figure out what kind of magic he has going on or what kind of wooge he's got going on. I thought your sire, Miles, wanted him so that he could apprehend Shaw. So is he still even interested in him?
I'm not entirely sure. I think he still might be of interest, but I'd planned on asking him next time I saw him. You saw how well that went.
Yeah, that was a weird interaction tonight.
Shaw wanted him because he was full of information.
Right.
Getting rid of him is a good thing, but it does turn off that tap of information. But Information is always a double-edged sword.
We're also not entirely sure whose side he's on. In a way, if we can get him to turn against, let's say, the killing spree and such like that, it would be not a bad ally to have. We've seen the things that he can do.
Well, I think if we have a chance at turning him, I think Britta's our best option for
I just
that.
don't want him involved in whatever weird flesh magic he has.
Well, he was that pile of flesh he was keeping in the basement of that thing, he referred to it as a god. I don't think that it's going to be easy changing the mind of a zealot.
I don't think we have to change his mind. I think he's a survivalist at heart.
So we'll see if there's anything we can get gained from having him around, or passing him off if it's a thing we want to try to do. But having him be a temporary ally, if nothing else, may also work. His allegiances don't seem to be to neither the Camarilla or the Sabbat.
I think his allegiance is fully to the thing in that basement.
That is my understanding also.
Which would mean he would do anything to prevent us getting to it.
I think if we showed up at that house and waited, I think we'd eventually run into him.
I think so.
Yeah, but I hate that we can never set the stage for our dealings with him.
I mean, we also don't know what the thing he was guarding is actually capable of. I mean, he referred to it as a god, so, I mean...
Typical Sabbat bullshit.
We'll see what the book says, what you have from. Maybe it'll lead to some clues. See if we can't get more information on that. Maybe Vito will be more forthcoming the next time he decides to pull his drain pipe act.
Britta is self-consciously running her fingertips over the spot on her palm where there's still a lot of ink remaining from the crescent.
So step 1, read the book.
Let's see where we can go from there. I will see if anybody is still wanting. I believe Reese still wanted him for whatever reasons, but I'm not inclined to give Reese anything that he wants. Pretty much ever.
Fair.
I mean, it depends on what you could get from it, right? Like on playing the jihad and all.
Right. If it provides usefulness, but I do not... Reese is always going to give me the lesser of the deal, and I'm not interested in that. I'd rather give him nothing than not get equal.
You'll get better at that as things go.
We'll see.
Reese is an old douchebag with no morals. You have some morals. You're always going to be at the disadvantage with him.
I like to set my own boards. I won't necessarily play the same game as him. I'll change the terms.
I don't think any of us are all playing the same game.
You met with him the other night, right?
Yeah.
What was it about?
He wanted me to be his apprentice.
For what?
Blood magic.
But you're not a Tremere, isn't that their thing?
I mean, Neil learned blood magic.
Sometimes, rarely Ventru can learn magic from the Tremere.
So he wanted you to be his apprentice, huh?
Yes, he wanted me to stop talking bad about him.
What'd you tell him?
He gave me a book, but essentially I told him no.
But you have this book.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Do you have it on you now?
No. It's some weird book with a rose on it. I couldn't read it.
Was it a rose, like, anything to do with my clan?
I did not recognize it.
Okay.
I mean, while I'm reading obscure books, I can throw that on the pile if
you want. I don't...
A Tremere is giving you secret knowledge. I feel like that's worth prying into a little bit.
Feel free to look in the book. Just fill me on what you find out, but I'm not inclined to take his offer. He either wants me to shut up or he wants me to keep talking. And I'm not entirely sure his game right now. Because he came at me strong, and he knew I wasn't going to respond well.
If he was upset about you talking bad about him, I mean, that could really be a courtly matter at the end of the day, right?
Possibly. I think there's something between him and Roland, some sort of relationship that I haven't fully figured out yet. And I'm not sure if that's what's upsetting him, or if he wants me to talk bad in a way to set me up to take me down later.
Well,
So I'll be looking into that also.
Johnny, is this the exit?
No, we're looking at the next one.
Okay.
We could take here, but it's going to be faster to get to where we want to go.
I trust you, man.
Oh.
when I tend to be pretty good with books and that sort of thing, maybe I could help.
Yeah.
All right.
After a long trip, the group of you get to Queens and find yourselves pulling up to JFK. It's got tons of activity. It's almost a little disconcerting how hard it is to keep track of everything that's going on.
Are we really going to hold up that sign?
Yep.
I don't believe we have much choice.
All right.
It's New York City. Anything flies here.
And unfortunately, Kabir did not give me a very solid window, so I'm just gonna have to be standing out here for a while.
We can take turns waving it around if you want.
Yeah. I'm gonna move a little bit away from the van, so you guys can just keep an eye on me. But I'm gonna head over to the those bench area over there where people are coming out and keep the sign up.
All right, we'll watch your back.
All right. Hey kid, mind grabbing in my my duffel bag there? I got a carton of Morley's. Mind pull me one of the packs? It's gonna be a long night.
I was thinking you wanted the whole carton for a second there.
Britta goes into the duffel bag and efficiently fishes out the cigarettes and tosses a lighter along with it.
Grabs it, stuffs it in his jacket. All right. He nods, leaves the keys in the ignition so that it, there's still radio and everything like that. And the van gets out with the sign and heads over to where people are coming out and posts up.
Wynn pulls her hood up and stands outside the van. She doesn't want to have to open doors if shit goes wrong.
How many visual distractions are there? Would this be somewhere that Britta could use enhanced sight, or is it two sort of flashing lights?
You can use your enhanced sight here.
Then she will.
Sound not great. Too many horns honking and people arguing and people traveling everywhere.
To keep an eye on Johnny, she will use her auspex to enhance her sight.
Neil, you, Jubair, and a certain someone who's not actually left off. She's not conscious yet.
No.
She is being transported as a corpse overseas. There's a whole process to that, but Jubair explained to you that he's got it well in hand, and it's just a matter of getting the two of you into the States. You find yourself way up in the sky on this plane in the dead of night. Down below are all sorts of lights. The plane kind of circles around nice and slow, and eventually it lands, and you find yourself back in America. At first, there's like this mad dash for everyone to grab their luggage, and they all make their way off the plane. Flight attendants are thanking everyone for their business. Everyone's kind of been putting out cigarettes, and you get out of the plane. And Jubair is looking around with an expression full of wonder, as if he were now the person wandering a strange land with all sorts of curiosities.
You said you had a way past customs, or are we just gonna have to disappear for a little bit here?
Don't worry, we will take our time. Customs is very loose here, and
In New York?
yes, of course,
Okay. I don't know. I don't travel a lot.
we've already landed.
Yeah, but we're supposed to go over in that line over there for customs.
Yes, we could, or
But that was what I was asking. Are we
Or-
supposed to okay, yeah. Fine. Let's do that then. Although we have to get Nara. It felt really weird checking her as luggage. Right?
she's not going to be delivered here.
Where's she going?
Don't worry about it. Just relax. Enjoy
I'm
the
finding it
surroundings.
very hard to relax. This is a Sabbat
He
city.
slaps you in the mouth. It's okay.
Ow! What?
You have to relax. A tense man is suspicious.
Yeah.
So stop being suspicious.
All right. I will.
You will go to the bathroom. Come with me. It'll be fine.
Sure. Just
He kind of like
Two dudes
walks
go to the bathroom.
in, and by the time he steps into the bathroom itself, or that across that like little passageway, he's unseen.
Neil, not quite as smooth on the uptake, goes into a stall and then disappears. Then realizes there's a door that he can't open now that he's disappeared, so like shimmies out underneath the stall floor.
Jubair waits awkwardly, just trying to not listen to you, like wiggle across that cold and for some reason wet floor. After you've eventually made it to your feet, he kind of gestures to the doorway, and as it's opening and closing, he just kind of steps out.
Can I see him? Yeah, my aspect is pretty good. Mm-hmm. Okay. I just follow after him. Neil just walks quietly, thankfully, across like shitty airport carpet, muffling the squish of his shoes from the bathroom, and follows Jubair.
The two of you make your way outside. At a certain point, the obfuscate drops, but it's after customs is reviewed after you guys have gotten past customs. It's around when you get outside that you see a strange sign being held by a not so strange man. You see a sign that says, "A black hand which shall rise and choke all who oppose it." And it's Johnny holding it. Jubair gives you a look. This is the one.
Wait.
What?
How did you arrange this?
Mind your business, Neil. I don't ask you personal questions.
You ask me personal questions all the time.
Well, no one tells you
on a 13-hour flight.
No one tells you to answer them. Come on.
Look.
What? What? Okay.
Time out.
Everyone time out from the mission.
Everyone is two of us.
Everyone stop everything what we are doing, me and you. Let's talk about your feelings.
Okay, great. That would make me feel a lot better.
Great.
What does that mean?
That's a question. No, talk about your feelings.
That black hand sign being held by someone who I know is giving me anxious feelings.
It is a code. It tells us this is the guy.
Try our best, I guess.
That was all of your feelings?
Johnny mentioned the black hand thing once, and it was in reference to the Sabbat.
Who is
last
Johnny?
Time I saw, that's Johnny.
Oh.
And the last time I saw him, I thought he was going to die, and he had mentioned the black hand, and this is Sabbat City.
Okay. Before we go further, do you owe this man money?
What? No. I don't. Well, yeah, I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay, fine then. A very long time out while you figure out the answer to a very basic question.
No, I don't think I owe him any money.
Okay, then let's go. It's fine. He's not going to kill you.
Oh, I hope not.
Okay, fine. Why is he going to kill you then?
Because I don't know if that's Johnny or not.
So you don't even know if this man is the man that you think it is.
Excuse me for being a little bit paranoid right now.
Neil, at any moment, someone could leap out of a shadow and devour your soul.
Yeah, I'm aware. That's why I'm paranoid.
Do you know what they will not be doing? Holding up a sign waiting for you in the middle of public. Let's go.
That's what they want you to think. But he follows anyways.
He stops. What if that is what they want us to think?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
That's sort of the whole
We'll
point.
find another way.
No, just, hold on.
Yeah, that sounds stupid now, doesn't it? Let's go.
What? No.
Johnny spots a man he does not recognize, and he's kind of waving when he sees the sign you're holding, and next to him, looking mildly uncomfortable, is Neil, or at least Neil's visage.
Tell us the order in which we see him, because that's going to be important here.
So right now we're on Johnny seeing him. Johnny saw a strange man with, a tanned complexion, dark hair that's kind of like swept back and kind of curly in some areas. Accompanying him is Neil.
What is Neil wearing?
Neil is wearing khakis, sandals, and a button-down shirt that depicts palm trees. Like a black button-down shirt with a little palm tree pattern that just kind of like repeats itself over and over again.
I can't tell whether or not this would be a frenzy check.
Well, whenever you're unsure, roll for frenzy.
That's right.
Because I am super high-strung. I'm in a Sabbat city. I am worried that I may have been followed.
Yep.
The people who had followed me would absolutely have access to his face.
Yep.
And I'm convinced he's dead. So this is somebody wearing my friend's face. This is not Neil.
By the way, if I die right now, I'm going to laugh my ass off.
Because this is a tradition.
And then I'm going to ask you for
Neil.
Jubair's sheet.
This is a tradition of Garrett.
Neil, there's
murdering
nothing
Rob
to worry about. Neil,
by accident.
Fine. He's not going to kill you, right?
Also, Neil owes him $10.
I don't know. If that's Johnny, no, probably not. But I don't know if that's somebody pretending to be Johnny.
So what am I rolling? Self-control here?
You are going to roll self-control at difficulty 8.
I am going to spend a willpower on this roll. Because
Thank
I do
you.
need that. I am in the middle of an airport, and this would be a bad time to break the masquerade. And that's 2 successes.
Okay, with 2 successes, you manage to maintain control. Wynn, watching Johnny, you can very clearly see his hackles rise, and he gets this mean mugging look staring off at something.
She takes a few steps towards him, looking to figure out what's got him agitated.
Yeah, Neil immediately recognizes aggressive Johnny posture.
Okay, that might actually be him, but
Good.
I'm going to ask. Hold on. Well, stop here for a second. I'm going to ask him a question.
That's fine. I will smoke.
Okay.
He takes out a pack of Camels.
I spend blood to up my strength and my dexterity.
Johnny, what's going on?
Hey, Johnny, what's something that only you would know, that I would know?
Johnny drops the sign, takes a few steps forward, and wraps a hand around the back of your neck so that to all other people, it looks like I'm just kind of embracing a friend, maybe. And you feel the strength of which is threatening to start to crack bone.
Okay, that's not really.
I'm going to
answering my
need
question.
an appearance plus subterfuge roll. Because I feel like absolutely no one is convinced.
Look, I'm just hugging my friend on the back of his neck.
Long time no see.
Like Johnny's like muscle arms as well.
Hello, regular human being.
Anybody watching would definitely be nervous that something's going on here,
Yeah.
but I just want it to be that it's not a fight breaking out, right?
Yeah.
Like immediately heads aren't snapping and going, "Oh God, this guy's jacking this other guy up against a wall in an airport."
Yeah.
But I don't have subterfuge, so that's -1 die, or is that
No, it's a
-1
talent, you should be
difficulty? Okay,
Nope, you just roll your appearance.
diff 6.
Yep.
That's a botch. So I think I actually
Johnny,
I
you're
mean
choking
to
me.
I mean to do that, but instead I just kind of I can't.
You subtly, quote unquote, grab him. There's a lot of popping noise, and some of the people watching like give you mortified looks and start getting as much distance between you and them as possible without quite running away.
Wynn runs when she sees this happening.
Hey, buddy,
You got any last words, you Sabbat fuck?
yeah, it was. I was already asking you for a code word. This might be good enough, but I really like what's something. I really want to know something that only I would know.
Those are your last fucking words, scumsucker.
Johnny, what's
guess.
going on? Oh,
Wynn, I don't know who the hell this is,
Wynn just
but it is not Neil.
Her eyes go real wide, her jaw drops, and she just kind of pushes her hood back just enough so she can see who this is. What color did you tell me to be?
What?
What color did you tell me to be when I was pissed off?
You I mean, I've told you to be a lot of colors, but
What color did you tell me to be on New Year's Eve?
I mean, you were sort of a crimson, but you needed to be more of a vermilion just to relax.
Her eyes start welling up. What was I punching?
Oh my god.
A dumpster?
Where were we?
I mean, by the dumpster, by Elysium, in downtown.
And she kind of like reaches forward and like grabs his face.
Okay,
Not in an intent to squeeze, but just like, are you real?
Johnny tries to hold her back with one hand while he's still pressing him into the masonry.
Okay.
This is some kind of Sabbat trick, Wynn. Do not fall for
There's
this.
just like a lot of hands on me right now, and I don't.
Johnny pulls him back off the masonry and then slams him back in. Shut up, you!
Where did we go? Where did we go when all the spirits looked to the sky?
Neil looks at Wynn and then makes eye contact with Johnny, like asking permission to talk.
Miles, I think that might really be Neil. Can we go out?
I mean, somebody should stay with the car, but
It was, oh my god, is that Neil? Miles like, Jesus. All right, I'll stay with the
Jesus,
man.
look, what's going on? I can't see anything.
Johnny's
from
jaw sets in a way that you know that he's kind of like giving you an opening.
I'm sorry, Wynn, can you repeat the question? I got...
Where were we? when the spirits looked to the sky, and I freaked out at you because I couldn't protect you.
I don't remember the name of the farm.
Town.
It was like Wallingford or something. I don't remember. Johnny took us there. Me and Britta, because nobody else knew yet.
And Wynn kind of like, she keeps staring, but a couple tears drop.
Oh, hello. There appears to be a misunderstanding. A man kind of comes walking over.
Jubair, this is not...
And he pats Neil on his shoulder. This is my friend Neil. You are the man who is to meet with us and give us a ride to Connecticut.
Johnny drops Neil and goes over to Wynn and starts wiping the blood off her face because that's a serious potential masquerade breach right there.
Britta is giving Miles a running description of everything that's happening, including the strange man.
Let's take this to the van.
You guys have a van?
Yeah.
Okay,
Neil, it seems that your friends here are the people that will be giving us a ride. Hello, my name is Jubair. It is a very good pleasure to meet you, he says, almost like particularly at Wynn.
Coincidentally, yeah. I'm sorry, give me just a second. Jubair, I know you said don't worry about it, but where are they sending Nora?
New Haven.
Well, they're just sending her there.
Yes, of course. Why?
What are they being FedEx to where? To where in New Haven?
A place in New Haven now. Don't worry.
How am I not supposed to worry?
Let's take this to the van.
I love this guy.
Come on, let's take it to the van.
Okay.
Where is the van?
This way, Jubilee.
Jubair.
Jubair. Let's go.
Jubair, this is... Well, I guess we'll wait until the van for the...
What's this guy look like?
He is clearly of either some North African or Middle Eastern descent, maybe like Algerian, and he's got big brown eyes. He kind of smiles. He's got like overly bright teeth and very, very dark hair, and he's kind of dressed like like a fucking college student on a field trip somewhere. You know what I mean? He's just kind of like very happy to be here.
You're the one that chartered this van?
And that is correct, yes.
And how the hell do you know him? He points a meaty finger over at Neil.
This is okay. He is my fellow Shipu.
I have no idea what the hell a new Shipu is.
I have no expectation that you would, but it is still the answer to your question, my friend.
Come on, van.
You're standing next to a dead man.
I mean,
that is, if we are to be technical, we are a
kind of dead in the
small throng of dead men.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He was abducted by the Sabbat.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it in the van, I guess.
He was protected by the whiff of Caliph.
Blood magic?
Like
no,
that's a problem?
I just didn't want to be there anymore.
It is.
I just
my friend.
wanted to escape.
It is mastery of heaven and earth.
Call
Duran
it the
Key.
fuck you want.
I just did.
It's blood magic.
No, that's very vague and ignorant.
Miles,
We
I'm
are-
still not sure if Johnny might...
Only an
fancy on
idiot
him.
would call it that. It has a name. You now have it.
Do you want to go out there?
As
We really need to move this conversation out of an airport.
I agree. You are the escort to take us to New Haven. Please, show us the way.
Yeah,
He kind of waves his hand.
right this way.
The van doors open very quickly. Britta has clearly been like jittering.
Neil, I don't know if these friends are actually friendly.
Well, yeah, it's complicated. I guess. Last time I saw them, I thought everyone was dying. I thought we were all dying.
You left him to die. I've done this
no.
before too. I've met many enemies this
No,
way.
not that's.
They never actually die when
That's
you leave them
not
to
how
die.
I would put it. Everybody. Oh boy.
Neil, is that really you?
Neil sort of like what his expression has changed from like panicky paranoid to sheepish paranoid as the van door opens and he sort of steps inside.
What time is it, by the way?
Yeah, it's
It's like 4:30.
Kabir gave me directions to a place I could go post up for the night down in New York here, right?
Right.
Or did he say that the contact was going to have that?
So he told you you're going to be at a place in Queens,
Okay.
and the contact has the location.
Yeah, it's me. Hi. I'm really glad all of you were alive. I didn't think you were.
Britta is
gonna be.
looking him over, like, with the enhanced eyesight, as if she might find, like, some seam in the disguise. But once, like, she scans him and she scans Wynn and Johnny's reactions, after a moment of hesitation, she does hop off the bench fully and hug Neil.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad you're all okay. I mean, what happened? Is New Haven safe? Is it taken over? I didn't know where to go.
Where did you go?
I was in Baghdad.
We're not just having this conversation out in the open. You're shutting your mouth. None of you are saying anything else to this guy. I don't even know that this is fucking Neil.
Johnny, take the wheel.
Get in the van. He kind of like growls to the two of these guys.
What is this thing?
That's an excellent question. It is your ride for tonight.
You have an address for me?
You will take us to the Hotel Sofitel.
Is it over in Queens?
Oh, it is not.
Where is it?
It is in downtown Manhattan. Very close. Very close. Practically the same.
So you think. He climbs into the front of the van and starts heading to one of the bridges to get back over to Manhattan.
Okay.
Britta's still kind of staring, like, even though she hugged him, she's not quite believing it. Nothing bad happened when she hugged him, but she's not convinced.
Wynn is sort of vibrating with indecision about whether to believe this is Neil or not. She has every reason to believe that those answers were true and only Neil would know them, but Johnny knows the Sabbat.
Somehow, during this whole ride, whenever Neil looks up to the rear view, Johnny is staring daggers at him. It's still driving fine, but man, oh man, every time it's just like he looks up and Johnny chose that moment to look back in the rear view to already be staring daggers at him.
Neil spends most of the trip basically in the far corner on one of the benches, away from everybody but maybe Jubair. Kind of looking down and like he's trying to curl in on himself as much as possible. And coincidentally, every time he is like, oh, I can't take the silence anymore, I'm going to say something, is when he looks up and catches Johnny staring at him and just puts his head back down and doesn't say anything.
After a few minutes, did he clear anything? Britta, you getting anything? Wynn?
He looks... I'm using my sight and he looks right.
I asked him a bunch of questions only the real Neil would know. And he answered them all right.
Yeah, and then he sees Johnny looking at him and just shuts up again.
Neil, I've never known you not to speak. What's going on?
Johnny,
would you stop glaring at him?
Johnny slowly takes his eyes and puts it back on the road.
Not to, play the hand here, but you got me at a disadvantage. I asked Johnny for clarifying questions earlier too, and he didn't answer me, so I don't actually know that you guys are you.
Isn't that a fun way?
Fucking throttle him if he puts that bullshit out one more time.
I've got it. What would you like to know, Neil?
I don't know. I'm being chased by murderers. I would love to know that you guys are actually you.
Not those murderers?
You're still being chased by the Sabbat?
No. So somebody different.
More?
Yeah.
Basamites.
Yeah. Somebody who scares me a lot more than the Sabbat.
Fantastic. Great. So what do you want to know?
I don't know. Tell me something that I would know that only you would know that I would know.
Oh my God.
The same with Wynn did to me.
I'm unsure.
We never came up with a series of passcodes. Not that anything is technically uncrackable.
I'm feeling pretty convinced right now.
You can,
My
anything.
annoyance level is way higher than it was previously.
Ask me what was in your haven.
What's underneath the bed in my haven?
There's a trap door down into a cellar. There's a shitload of newspapers and magazines and some weird occulty stuff and some red plant.
Is it still there? Because I haven't been home in
I certainly hope so.
No, I don't just mean that.
He kind of sits back quiet.
Okay.
There's the bathtub, Neil.
Okay. I guess as good as... I mean, you gotta just get inside your head, but I don't want to... That feels like...
I could have done the same thing. I've been trying not to.
Exactly. It seems rude.
You can appreciate the fact that I'm listening to Miles and not smoking your ass the second we get to where we're going.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Is that proof that I'm Johnny enough for you?
It's proof that you know the dynamic between Johnny and Miles.
What happened to you inside Xantos's house? Or do you want me to tell you what happened inside Xantos's house?
No, I know what happened to me. I want to know if you know what happened.
I know what happened to you, but would you like me to tell you?
Yeah, that's kind of the whole, like, we're doing a thing, although...
Yes. Miles is kind of smiling at him. Yeah, you had your ribs exploded inwards, it seemed, by Mr. Vito, and causing you to fountain blood out of you.
Yeah, that did happen.
And then you tried to scramble behind the bar.
Yes. Yeah, that's... Yep.
Britta looks for a second at Neil's companion at all of these strange mentions of strange things. Does he appear to have any reaction to any of this?
You will notice that he is very subtly looking at Wynn.
Britta follows that.
He just does not seem to care about the
Is this
subject.
Kabir with a mustache?
Does he have a mustache?
Britta follows that line of sight, like kind of subtly as well, and like her eyes flick back to him, kind of checking where on Wynn his eyeline might be falling.
He's like pretty clearly checking her out.
Noted. Britta kind of like blinks and reattends the very important conversation.
All of these things we're asking, telling each other, could have easily been figured out by the Sabbat. Vito might still be running with them. We don't know that. You want to actually prove me your Neil?
Sure.
Wawa 91. What did you say?
Oh, I mean, do I...
The whole thing.
God, you guys went to a Wawa?
What is a Wawa?
It's a convenience store.
Johnny and I were... Man, this is embarrassing. Do I have...
Do it.
Jesus, Johnny, I don't... It was the Phil Collins stuffed turkey rant. I don't make me do it in the van.
All right, I think that's Neil.
We all just watch him and then look between the two like...
Johnny actually
What?
has blood tears running down his face at this point.
Neil looks deeply ashamed.
What?
Wynn kind of reaches up and kind of returns the favor of wiping Johnny's eyes so he can drive.
Britta is just muttering under her breath, "The what?"
Let's just drop it, okay? We don't have to...
It's around now that Johnny makes it to Fifth Avenue.
This is a lot nicer than I'm dressed for.
He looks for a parking garage attached to this.
Oh yeah, they find a parking garage.
Attached to the hotel.
They kind of... There's a person that's there. They're waiting to park the vehicle for you.
Starting to think I should have picked the vehicle for this.
Look, no offense, but getting in and out of New York with no one noticing...
I think they just noticed right now as we pulled this kidnapper van into a Fifth Avenue hotel.
Yeah, but honestly, there's also 6 of us, and I don't know if Johnny knew how many people he was picking up. But
Oh, no
having
idea.
a larger van makes a
Someone
lot
knocks on the window.
more sense.
Yo, you want me to park your car for you? Are you in the right... You need directions or something?
No, we've got reservations at the hotel.
Well, all right then. Yeah, let me... Why don't I take care of this for you?
Get everything in the bags.
Got it. I already got my stuff at least.
Johnny gets out, hands the guy the key, or leaves the keys in the car, but hands the guy a 20.
Thank you, sir. And he kind of pockets the 20, and he's going to go park the van. Javier kind of very casually strides into this, like, stunning 5-star hotel, just kind of assuming that the group of you are coming along.
I'll follow him along with my guitar case.
Wynn follows, carrying whatever bags she thought to grab on the way out.
When inside, he has just a very quick exchange with the receptionist, and key cards are distributed. He kind of gives the group of you like a little smile, and he's like, "Don't worry, this is just a little way of showing appreciation for your assistance. Come." He leads you to the elevator, where you travel very, very high on this old, like, 1940s or 50s elevator. It's very classy, lots of, like, gold and Art Deco, like, style designs everywhere. You come up to this, like, massive penthouse room that has a gorgeous view of the city. You can kind of see that there's definitely a swimming pool outside on this like rooftop like hideout. And there are rooms there, like rooms in this like, dormitory essentially. And he hands you guys card keys.
Question. Are there enough rooms for each of us?
The room itself does not quite have enough rooms for everyone. It's pretty clear he probably didn't expect a van this full.
Britta is keeping an eye on the dynamic between him and Wynn.
Kabir, I have to appreciate your accommodations here.
Oh, thank you, my friend.
Well, my name is Miles.
Pleased to meet you. I am Jubair, and I intend to spend much of the rest of the evening smoking by the pool. You're welcome to join me.
I might spend some time out in the pool.
But please, the group of you, make yourselves comfortable. This is not exactly the sort of place that the Sabbat would visit, so I think we can relax for a while.
I don't mean to ruin your plans for the evening, but we only have maybe an hour, 2 at best, before the sun is up.
Then I should light now, then. He kind of like laughs, takes out a Camel cigarette. Like, those like ridiculous Camel wides. He lights himself a Camel wide and steps
It's
outside.
a Camel wide.
Yeah.
Is it just a bigger cigarette?
It's a wider
It's
cigarette,
literally
yeah.
what it is, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
They're fat looking.
It's good to know. Thanks, guys.
In the rooms are like big windows and stuff.
Huge.
Okay.
There are definitely big windows. Jubair doesn't seem concerned, but yeah.
Neil, looking at like wherever the big windows are, still seems a little skittish around everybody. Like he's not sure how this dynamic is going to play out, and just cuts his thumb on one of his fangs and starts writing symbols on windows.
Why don't you go ahead and give me a casting?
Yeah, that's like 6 successes.
Okay, perfect.
And he just does it on like basically anywhere where sunlight might come in. He just starts writing and like muttering to himself, still kind of looking around at everybody, just not really sure how to proceed from here.
What are you doing?
Enacting a curtain of will. There's a lot of windows in this place that I don't think we want sunlight coming through.
I don't remember you doing anything like that before.
It's been an enlightening couple of weeks. Has it only been a couple of weeks? It feels
It's been a few weeks, yeah.
I was drugged out most of the time. My mind was elsewhere, so I lost a lot of time.
What happened?
I tried to get Elsa out, like I said I was going to. We were going to escape. I saw Jane and Johnny's daughter get away. They peeled out. They drove off. So that was good. That all worked. And then this woman came out of nowhere. She had a cutlass. There were a bunch of just these animalistic-looking gangrel with her. And then when I stopped and I looked back, they were just gone. There was no escaping that. And she said she just needed a victim, and I don't know. I knew Miles needed Elsa. Just something. I couldn't just. She said she wanted a victim, and it was a choice. I could have, and it just didn't seem right. I couldn't just sacrifice somebody else, and
Neil, Elsa made it.
That's good. I didn't know what was going on. Last I saw, Miles and Johnny were running at like a werewolf or something, and then I asked her. I pushed Elsa back inside, and then I asked that woman. I said, I don't really want to be here for this. Can I? And she sort of shrugged. Didn't really seem like she cared either way. So I keep blood, drugged blood, in coins and little objects sometimes, and I just took one out of my pocket, and I just wanted to disappear. I didn't want to feel it at the end. And then everything started to go black, and there was a pain in my chest. And then I woke up in Baghdad.
How's that?
Nora told me she said the whiff of Khalif that I had taken at the end, she had come, she was looking for me, she needed a favor, she needed my help.
Who's Nara?
Remember how I said I had some personal relationships with the children of Hakim?
No, I don't remember that.
I was asking when.
Yeah.
Nara is,
Personal relationship.
she's very special.
Why didn't she come with you?
She did. She's being shipped to New Haven. Jubair said she was in torpor. We couldn't get her on the plane. She healed me. She took care of me. And
She attacked by those assassins that they're following you.
I was
She
there
the
for,
one keeping you drugged?
Yeah. They needed information. They said I had seen something, and I had. They wanted to know about this thing that's coming. The Herald Urshulgi is the name. So Jubair and Nora, they kept me in this apartment in Baghdad, overlooking the city, just trying. I tried so hard for them to see the right things. So I was kind of spaced out for a few weeks.
Urshulgi?
I don't know. I sort of know. It's something bad.
Can I make an occult roll?
Yes.
4 successes.
Shulgi of Ur was the second king of the third dynasty of Ur during the Sumerian Renaissance. He reigned for 48 years, from c. 2094 to c. 2047, which is 2029 c. to 1982 BC.
An ancient Sumerian king.
A child.
Johnny kind of raises an eyebrow between both of you, like kind of impressed with Wynn, but also kind of terrified that this is where the conversation's going.
I saw it that night that I ascended the ladder when we went out to Wallingford, when we did all of that at the end. And then New Year's Eve, too. Just a small child, skin black and charred, coming out of a tomb. Told me the paths have to split. Apparently, it's important to Nara's people. There's some sort of schism happening, and so they wanted to know more. They needed to know more. And the last night I was in Baghdad, which must have been just last night, the night before, I had just started for a new vision when one of the members of the Web of Knives was clutched on the outside of the tower and tried to pull me out, and we ran, because it's all we could do, and just ran. It was like over rooftops, and eventually threw ourselves into the river and escaped as best we could. Lost him somewhere along the line, but in the process, Nara was struck down, and she was put into torpor, and I managed to hold on to her, but...
Are you still having these visions?
Not in the last day or so.
Have you been off the drugs in that time period?
Yeah. Alamut has, obviously, plentiful harvests of Khalif, not like the little grow lab underneath my haven. They have a lot, so it could be pretty consistent. Just pretty consistently gone and searching. I mean, on the plus side, he's continues to sort of draw symbols and stuff on the windows. It opened my mind to a few things that had been difficult to parse. I've been trying to work on for a while now, but that's the benefit of having a teacher.
Sure, we can call it that.
But on the good side, on the plus side, if this works the way it's supposed to, sun, even with the windows wide open, sun won't come in here.
How do you test this before it?
It's a good question. I had not considered that.
All right. Why are you back in New Haven then?
We had to get out of Baghdad.
And you ended up in New Haven?
Jubair asked me where we should go that was safe. I didn't know if New Haven was safe or not. I have no idea if it's been taken by the Sabbat. I didn't know if any of you were alive. I don't know what happened to any of you, but it was the only place I could think of to go.
There's international phones, right?
Yeah, I was in a stupor for a couple of weeks, and then I was running from assassins. I didn't have a phone.
Mm. Well, it's good that you're back. The domain is still standing.
Good. And
the werewolf is dead.
Yeah, what the hell? I thought we had agreed that we were just going to run.
No, I never agreed to that.
Well,
No.
That's what I thought too, but...
No, I was fairly sure the plan was not to run.
I was never gonna run.
That's not what I remember talking about. But I'm glad you're all alive. I wasn't sure.
Because I thought that leaving the building would be problematic since there would be a bunch of Sabbat around, but yeah, okay. And we managed to recover Joey.
Yeah,
Good.
Joey's okay. He's still with me.
I'm glad.
Unfortunately, Reese is still alive.
Shaw is not.
Shaw is not.
What happened to Shaw?
Johnny happened to Shaw.
Reese happened to Shaw.
I mean, yes, but ultimately...
Wait, so what? Wait.
What happened after you left was the werewolf tore through damn near a quarter of the court. before Miles and I managed to put it down. Barely.
I wouldn't say barely. You handed that thing a defeat.
The werewolf was just a young girl that the killing spree bagged and tossed in to scare everybody out so they could grab the victim. When we put it down, Shaw saw a chance to try and put the rest of us down. I don't know how much of a heads up he had about what was going down, but he put a stake through Miles and damn near got to me until Reese somehow pulled the blood from both of our bodies, sending us into hunger frenzy.
That makes sense.
And I tried to diablerize him.
Are you...
It didn't work. Didn't take.
Shot Reese, but it wasn't him.
I'm sorry. I should have seen that it was a ghoul suit.
No one's blaming you, Neil.
I should have seen anyways.
Not much we could have done differently.
I should have been less focused on him as a target. But I got Joey back, so there's not a lot of room for regret.
The real kicker is not a whole lot has changed since that night. The Sabbat are still warring on the city, causing massive masquerade breaches wherever they can that we're barely managing to contain.
In some cases, we're not.
There's a lot more panic. And positions, people, it's all being shuffled. I mean, Miles, you're the sheriff now, and...
Wait, what? What happened to Weathers? Is Weathers okay?
Weathers is okay.
Reese hasn't lost any status in the domain, and instead punished Weathers for
allowing things to happen.
And has put Miles in charge, so now Miles is reporting to Reese.
To Rollins.
Well, we can...
Well, what happened to Arabella?
We can split hairs in that
Where's
all
she?
day.
We haven't found her yet.
She just disappeared?
She hasn't been seen since then. She took off.
Okay. I might be able to help with that kind of thing.
What we really need help with is tracking down Xantosa.
Okay. We can do that.
What about you? Besides getting away from these assassins.
I
I imagine things have changed since you've now been transported halfway across the world.
Again, I wasn't really fully aware for most of my trip. But, like I said, there's some sort of schism that either has to happen or is going to happen or has already happened with the children of Hakim. Nara said she wanted my help. I wanted to talk to her more about it, more context, but she's in a box right now.
So, Jubier and Nara need something, and they've decided to, it seems like, flee the Middle East and are now in New Haven.
Yes. Yeah. It's not safe there for people who are on to whatever it is the Web of Knives is doing.
I'm not sure it's going to be that much safer for them here.
I said that, but the Web of Knives is terrifying.
Maybe they're hoping they'll stick out more here.
When a Web of Knives assassin wants to kill you, they don't stick out, they just appear and then you're dead.
You're still alive.
I managed to get lucky.
So it's doable.
Or they didn't want to kill me. It's unclear.
Well, I mean, all three of you are still alive.
They still have to travel and they still have to feed, correct?
As far as I know. I mean, there are ways to travel faster than plane, but I don't know who's supporting them. I don't know where they are.
Well, there's clearly support, she says, looking around at the very opulent surroundings.
Jubair is not a member of the Web of Knives.
But he is an Assamite.
Yeah.
Oh, this ought to be interesting.
Do you know if the Web of Knives is Sabbat or...
No, they are their own thing.
Like the Setites?
Yeah, if the Setites were scary.
I mean, I think the Setites would disagree with you, but...
I'm sure they would.
But
Neil, you'll be fine coming back into New Haven, but I would like to point out that if we're bringing two Assamites into the domain, that could get a little bit sticky, unless they ask for proper hospitality.
We should be able to make that happen.
Is your friend Jubair and Nara gonna be okay with letting themselves be put on record like that?
I don't know. It's gonna have to be a conversation, I guess. I'm not entirely sure what next steps are for them other than don't die. I know I was trying to help them get information, but I'm missing a lot of the context.
Do you trust these people?
Completely. With my life. I mean, Jubair has saved me multiple occasions, and with Nara, I just sort of like fall silent in a sort of a very clearly like, I'm fond of this person, I don't really want to talk about it kind of way.
I might be able to handle something. Do they have can they put together some sort of present, I can talk to Jubier.
If, there's gonna, yes, but also, historically, if Reese is still around and has a lot of sway and status, that's might be an issue. Historically, the, children of Hakim and the Tremere do not get along.
Fantastic.
Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the classic world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Ventrue was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erika Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode was edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was January Grunge Love Fest by Technoaxe. Visit them online at technoaxe.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition rule set of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade is owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Twitter at Path of Night Pod, on Facebook at facebook.com/Path of Night Podcast, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred. Johnny's gonna growl into the mic for a while. Just getting real deep in there with all kind of growl.
I don't like when he says real deep in there. Is anybody else?
Sorry.
Just wondering if it's just me.
Bruja SMR.
Wynn and Johnny at Night Sun 95K. The Howl.
Oh!
Oh dear God, that could actually be a decent segment.
No.
Not
Oh, no.
that specifically, but putting people in a radio show.
I hate this. Let's move on.
Wait,
He hates
hold
it.
on.
He hates it, so that means it's
A
automatically
Johnny
good.
Wynn radio,
Segment where they
For,
have a
like,
guest.
just 30 minutes of them just interviewing someone.
And here we
Yeah.
have
So Miles, the
Mr.
producer,
Kabir.
occasionally cuts in.
Kabir, I
This
hear
is
you
awful.
like spit in your coffee. Let's discuss.
Wait, is this okay, so here's the thing.
I gotta have to have a sound effect board. Ooh, spitting his coffee.
So yeah, if we're doing radio shows,
I love this soundboard, man.
I like it better if he just makes up.
if we're doing radio shows,
It's Johnny. You realize a soundboard's actually a thing, right? Like you don't just make noises with your mouth.
Well, what do you make them with?
I'm sorry. What was that, Rob?
You mean they're fake?
Rob, you were saying.
no, if we're doing radio shows, we need to. We need at least 2 different radio shows. One is the fucking morning zoo crew of Johnny and Wynn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's us.
And then the other one is just an NPR style podcast. Neil and Britta just talking to whoever. And then Miles obviously is producing for both and just jumps in the middle of all of them.
Or he's just the music segment playing the new hits.
And now Miles with the news.
You know
They're
how-
all terrible.
Hi, this is Miles speaking.
Look,
I love the idea of everyone doing thing and then Miles just being so uncomfortable on mic.
You guys can each do a commercial. Johnny's like, if you don't chew Big Red, fuck you.